Q&A about human subject research.
What is the Institutional Review Board, and what activities require IRB review and approval?
The Institutional Review Board is a committee of SI staff that reviews activities involving human subject research, or HSR, for the purpose of protecting subjects from harm. A human subject is defined as a living human being about whom you are obtaining information or biospecimens through intervention or interaction, or obtaining, using, analyzing, or generating identifiable information or biospecimens. In some cases, you may not collect private information, but the individuals are still human subjects because you are interacting with them. The activity must also meet the definition of research to require review by the IRB. In this context, research is a systematic study designed to contribute to generalized knowledge. Activities that meet both the definition of research and involve human subjects must be reviewed and approved by the IRB before they may begin.
What common types of activities may require IRB approval?
Most Smithsonian human research projects involve visitor surveys, interviews, tracking visitors through exhibits, or educational program evaluations. However, the Smithsonian has many diverse research areas, and sometimes an activity that you might not think involves human subjects actually does. For example, an investigator was studying barnacle biology and wanted to collect barnacles from the hulls of fishing boats. Since these boats can travel long distances, they also wanted to ask the captains where the boats had been fishing recently. The activity involved interacting with living human beings and an intent to contribute to generalized knowledge, and thus required IRB approval. Since sometimes the captains might be fishing in prohibited areas, asking to disclose this behavior might put those being interviewed at some legal risk. The project was approved and continued, but with safeguards for the captains' identities.
We only want to understand how to make an exhibit more effective. Isn't that just quality improvement?
The main difference between QI and research is the intended use of the results of the activity. Research generally involves hypothesis testing, sometimes randomization, and often large sample sizes. Research is intended to contribute to generalized knowledge and benefits the entire intellectual field, not just the institution. Quality improvement is also an important activity and often provides indirect benefit to the people receiving our services. However, QI differs from research in that it is chiefly intended to benefit only the institution, and the activity involved is a normal activity of the institution. For example, we are normally in the business of curating exhibits in the museums and providing educational programs to the public. Deciding if an exhibit or educational program evaluation is research or just QI depends on what the intended use of the results might be, internal use versus conclusions to be shared outside the institution.
How can I find out if my own project is human subject research?
When in doubt, contact the compliance office and ask about the specifics of your activity to help determine whether IRB review is necessary. The compliance office can help you through the process of review and approval.
What do I do to get my project approved by the IRB?
The first step is to complete the required training in human subject research. The Compliance Office in the Office of the Undersecretary for Science and Research offers training on a regular basis to Smithsonian staff. On-site training for unit-specific staff can also be arranged upon request. Online training courses are also acceptable. Next, submit an application. Forms are available on the compliance webpage to researchcompliance@si.edu, along with consent forms, surveys, interview guides, etc. Training completion certificates should also be submitted with the application. You should plan on submitting your application 1 month prior to your anticipated start date to ensure it will be reviewed and approved prior to starting your research. You may not begin the work until approval is given. The Compliance Office will communicate with you about the status of your application and may request changes in wording or procedures with the goal of ensuring the best protections for your subjects. Once your application is approved, you will receive a written notification indicating you may proceed with the project. The Compliance Office website through PRISM includes lots of information about HSR, including a link to Smithsonian Directive 606, which is the institution's policy on human subject research. Contact Research Compliance at si.edu or 202-633-7118 for more information.